Hey guys, over here and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing a speed build and this is super exciting. It's currently update day. This is going to be released a day after update, and this was on a live stream. We did a big Tiana restaurant house kind of city. We also used the new building in the premium shop, and we just did a big plaza build. I start with the right half first, and this side is Tiana's restaurant, Tiana's house, and we used the gable house, the house that you first get when you come into the valley, this house here, and we used it as an extra little house. I thought it really matched the vibe of this build, so I also wanted to go with kind of more like a towny sort of vibe, like people had their own front lawns and gardens and things like that. So I did kind of block off everyone's houses with some fences. I did have a lot of trouble with the layout and not really knowing how much pathing to use, especially because the main kind of path, I really wanted to use the train in that area, so I just had to make sure it was wide enough for me to walk around easily. Luckily it was, and I just extended the path by 1 or 2, I think, just so I could squeeze through. This build was honestly so much fun. I used a lot of these rock paths and put some dirt underneath, and then used some foliage and some other random items like rocks and kind of blended it all in. I really loved the look of it, and I didn't do any rock pathing in my last valley, so it was quite fun to use those for the first build back. I also used a lot of these fences, these hedge fences. I always use these. These are such a good item. They really make builds feel a lot more luxurious and pretty. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever stop using these items. I also decided to use this Remy fence, and I actually did change it later on in the video to a picket white fence, and this is just because we used that white fence in all of the other areas of the build, so it was a little bit weird to have multiple different fences. At least that's what I thought. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful these firebugs, I can't remember the name of them, but those things, they are absolutely beautiful. I tried a couple different styles to this little, I want to call it a patio, but in the end I kind of just went with a really natural but luxurious kind of feel. I used lots of potted plants and I kept it quite minimalistic, honestly, but I think all of the green colors and then the rock rug underneath, I just think it works really well together. And yeah, I didn't want to do too much. I placed these clock tower things, but ended up just moving one to the back there. And yeah, this is basically the final build for Tiana's palace. I really liked it, just kind of minimalistic and simple, so I moved on to Tiana's house, and this build was really fun. It honestly, it's quite simple, but I don't think it needs to be super, flash or anything like that. I think it just really blends nicely with the biome, and especially with Tiana's restaurant too. I obviously put some mud underneath the rock rug because I thought it just kind of made the rock rug look a little bit better. Unfortunately, it means that there's some like gaps and things like that, but I don't think it really matters. I think it just makes the build feel a little bit more natural, which is totally fine. And as you see, we kind of use lots of ferns and bushes, just so we can kind of hide all of those edges. I also use lots and lots of rocks in this area too, just to kind of hide those little areas too. I really want to add some potted plants and some chairs to this area. It looked a little bit funny, so it took a little bit of playing around to get the right angle and the right spacing for these. But I do really like how they turned out in the end. I have got to say too, do you see those Peaceful Meadow? I'm pretty sure they're the Peaceful Meadow or the Plaza ferns. They're absolutely beautiful. I'm so glad that they updated these in this update. I think it's so nice to have a different colored fern. I'm gonna be obsessing over these this whole valley build, so be prepared to see these ferns a lot in upcoming speed builds. This is when I kind of decided to use the white picket fence. I think it looks better overall, but I do think the restaurant does look better with the Remy fences, but that's fine. We're going for a more overall look here. Okay, that side's now basically completely done, so I start working on the other side, which has Lady's House and also, I can't remember, the bakery house skin, which I think works pretty good in this biome. It kind of suits the vibes. Honestly, my whole inspiration for this side was just use the gazebo, make it look cute, make it kind of extend off the other side, but you know, I didn't have like a very good vision for this side, but I think overall it turned out really good and I'm super happy with it. I would love to do another build with this house skin, just to have a couple more options if you guys were looking for some more inspiration on this building. The same thing goes for Tiana's palace and her house. I want to do some more builds, but I think this will be my final build for this valley to keep here. I'll just kind of, move them back here because I do really like this build. I basically went with the same sort of pathing, so I just put the rock rugs and then put the dirt underneath. I decided to make this one straight because it's kind of more like fancy, a little bit more structured, but I did keep all of the same kind of ferns, foliage, all of that is the same. One thing I did add a little bit more of though is I use a lot more of these small rocks, and I don't really know why I did this, but I'm glad that I did it because I think it looks really good. It looks a little bit funny here when I'm like first doing it, but I think it makes the build really come together in the end. I mean, just look at how cute the little rocks on the edge of that path look. I just love the look of it. I also just added a little fence at the side here, I don't know why. Look, it's got white picket fence vibes obviously, so I think this was a good little addition. Also, did you guys know you can walk inside this gazebo? Not only that, you can decorate inside this gazebo. Not only that, you can place items down and then put the gazebo on top. Like, it's not like a table or anything. You can delete things inside it. You can delete the gazebo. It doesn't delete the items. You guys probably already knew that, but it was just crazy when I learned about. I mean, look at how pretty that is. It's beautiful. I also use these little lily pads. There's two types. One type you can put on the ground and one type you can put in the pond, which is really cool. And then I started work on the bakery, and this is quite a simple build, I think. It still has the same vibe as the rest of the build. I also did a little sitting area, more like a park area to the side, and then a bakery with lots of seating. I did kind of like a thicker path on this side. I couldn't get into that little crevice over there, but I did put pathing and then kind of blended it with some foliage, so I think it looks fine. And then obviously did the little trick of putting some mud underneath, put lots of foliage to kind of just blend everything up. And honestly, I used the barrel tables, these tables, but honestly I think it would have looked really cute to use Tiana's tables again. I just didn't want to overdo it with Tiana items, but in hindsight I think I probably should have, because I think those would have matched a little bit better. I then just started adding some rocks, and I have just recently rediscovered these big rocks, so I will also be using those a lot in the future. And then obviously putting some butterfly flowers inside the grass, because why not? I'm still waiting for the day where we get some more colors. Maybe a different style would be nice. Honestly, anything else. I could go with any other flower. Please, Gameloft, we need more varieties. Okay, this is the little park area I was talking about. I used the Beauty and the Beast flower arranging, not flower arranging, you know what I'm talking about, greenhouse thing. And I just did a little walkway up to it with a seat, and I flipped it around because I don't really like the front of it, but I absolutely love the back of it. This was honestly a little bit hard for me to decorate this area. I'm not sure why. I think because in my plazas, usually my entrances are quite grand, very symmetric, and I knew in this build I couldn't do that, so I was trying not to make it look so lopsided, you know, when you first walk in. For this back area, I kept it really simple. I just did a little rock walkway, and then a couple of ferns and bushes and a little seat, and that's basically all I did in this little area to kind of finish it off. So here is the final walkthrough of the build. I honestly really loved how it turned out. I have been so happy with this update. So many cool items that we can use to decorate with. It's just been really awesome to hang out on stream and build this with you guys. It was honestly really fun. As you can see, I also added some white foliage into some little cracks of this build, which I think really pulls it together too. This is my favorite part, Tiana's restaurant. It's just so cute. And here is the other side of the build. We have this little park area. I just love how green and lush everything is. I know everyone wants me to put her in the glade. I will be putting her in the glade. I'll be doing a build like that. But look at how kind of magical and green and lush this all looks. I just think her items are so pretty. And I think this is probably one of the best updates we've had item and furniture wise. Definitely not gameplay wise, but definitely cosmetically. And here is what it looks like at sunset. This is my favorite time to look at this build. I think it looks really, really beautiful with the fireflies, that's what they're called. Anyways, here are some overview shots of the build. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video and it gave you some inspiration. Bye bye.